This Godspeed TV back at you live once again. It's your boy Pomo slash a iceberg, the old person I was that used to roll rims through the suburbs. Get around a lot. I'm out here with my boy Pork Chop on my porch. You know what I'm saying? Getting some wind. Try to come up out the dungeon. That basement a little dark down there. But I want to finish up a little bit some more on the Kabbalah, Gematria, and what it means to learn Gematria in full retrospect. You know what I'm saying? Meaning is you got a little bit of knowledge in your mind. But I'm gonna let while I get myself situated, I'm gonna let Rabbi Schwartz finish talking, and he's explaining the beginner levels of Gematria or the Kabbalah.
White light is channeled through the letters, and in turn you have
White light is the
an
source.
expression that will convey a feeling, sometimes a very strong feeling, an intense feeling. So good communication, as you see, will be not just choosing the right words, but also choosing the right inflections and emphasis that the speaker uses in communicating. Now, when you write, you don't quite have the same power of communicating passion, so that's why good writers know how to use the right words that trigger the same type of emotions. And certain words that, and the way they phrase and the way they're punctuated will convey the same idea. An exclamation point, for example, will convey something that's an exclamation. Something, a question mark, will focus on something that is mysterious or unknown or questionable or still cryptic. And the same with other punctuation marks. So basically, language is essentially, we'll call it energy and containers. The energy is the white light, and the containers are the particular letters you use
the source
to
of expression,
a particular message.
The clothes you wear.
So everything in life has those two elements. But the energy needs to be harnessed.
California dress different from
and hence,
Chicago.
That's how we
two
see
different
letters.
Cases.
So letters essentially are channelers of light.
And what you got?
Channelers of energy.
Hold on.
And when you
channelers of light, channelers of energy. Let's start with cases. A case is a container. The source is the light. You shine the light through a container on a wall, and you're gonna get the shape that which whoever molded that shape on that container. So far, Lucifer is shaping our containers. So when you say a nigga catch a case, which is a case, you catch a case. You call it a case, you got a case. I mean, you got a case, a container, a case, a shell case, a case of expression, white light in a case with whatever scribbled on it, meaning the spell, words, right, left, whatever letter. You know what I'm saying? And what they do is give you different. You got one case, and they put different expressions on top of your case. That's why they say, man, you call it a case. Same thing. Um,
you think about it, it really becomes also, as an aside, an incredible point of understanding the importance of the words we use, the care that we should take. You'll see intelligent people are very careful what they say, what they don't say. Sometimes you can learn more from someone what they don't say from what they do say. In other words, the idea of being measured, knowing when to say it, how to say it, speaking in a pleasant tone, the divrei chacham benachas nishman that we're told, which means the words of the wise is said with a certain pleasantness and a certain measured tone. They don't speak in ways that are incoherent or overly passionate or overly extreme. Everything is said in a calm way. People who are not in control of themselves can go into tantrums, yell, scream, hysterical, and their words come across in that fashion. So words are really just channels and instruments for us to reach to each other. And
okay, when you say words as channel, you got to remember the white light, which is that door going through a case, an expression, and whatever the fruit, whatever's written on that expression. Now, words help that case communicate to another case without actually interfering or touching each other. It's called an expression further. So you got the case, you got the white, the energy source. The case meaning you, the expression, the zodiac, where you was born, how tall, the way you live at, stuff like that. And then you got the forward motion, which is how you project yourself to the world. What Lucifer do is get you right in between the source and the case. Matter of fact, he catch you at the case before you can express yourself. So right there, he drew an S. But if I draw an S with two X's on each end, it ain't gonna be no S no more. It's unnatural. It's like, what the fuck is that? You know what I'm saying? I kind of can see what it is, but it's got marks on it, extra marks. And that's what Lucifer or Satan do to your case. You know what I'm saying? He mark up your expression. So when it comes out for it to the world, people don't understand. Chapo! He chasing squirrels and shit, and they over here finna play a game with him. And he love messing with me in the middle of my video. Come here, boy. Yeah, the squirrel go run over here and make him chase him to the tree. Now he like to go in places I can't see him. Hurry up. But anyway, like I was saying, I told you about squirrels. These some niggas out here. It's the case. So if I mark up your expression, not alter your, that which you born naturally, the S is naturally S. But if I mark it up, which is put the mind program on it and all the other stuff that they do to us in our mental, then you're not really expressing yourself. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let them keep going. Figure out what my dog is. Chop.
Doing so, we have, as I said, the energy of the word or the letter. Let's speak about letters which make up words, and the message of the words. So if you think of it on a piece of in a book, the letters on the page are like the containers, and the energy is the message. What's the story? What's the narrative? What's the sentiment? What's the experience that's being conveyed? And in a world like ours, where we live in a material world, we need both. You cannot just have energy without containers, because then we won't be able to. If someone just pours out their plain, unfiltered, and shapeless energy, you won't understand what they're saying.
That's
It'll just be sound.
That's what we call.
If on the other hand, there's only
basically, from what he said in a nutshell, that's what we call crazy, or insane, or mad, where you can't really express your thoughts. You know what I'm saying? It sounds like a bunch of, it's the state of mind in which you go into when you holler. It's my boy Chop.
There's no soul behind it.
Chop, come here, boy.
And it's just empty words. And that's why we need both. We need, as they say, words from the heart enter the heart.
Yeah.
So it comes from the heart, and the heart is beyond words, but then it's harnessed and channeled in expression. Sometimes there's an expression that I like to believe that when I try to write and to communicate, you're really trying to express the inexpressible. That's really what it comes down to. You're trying to express feelings, sentiments, and experiences that are not always easy to quantify in words. And so therefore you have to use the right metaphors and the right analogies. And most importantly, you need to find those words that resonate with you and with another.
Y'all got to remember, English is a business language. Arabic got way more expressions. So we are limited, not actually expressing, but way to our case has been limited. You know what I'm saying? We can't really use a lot of signals, words, or letters to express ourselves because it's a business language. So if you see something spiritual, how can you explain something spiritual out of a business language? So really they handicap our mind. That's why a lot of kids got ADD and people be, really losing their damn mind because they're seeing things in their mind. Their mind is experiencing realities. But imagine a reality you can't express. Imagine a house. And nobody never told you it was a house. They told you what everything else was but a house. So when you look at it, like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then in Arabic, they come on and say, that's a house. And then that's a 4-story house. And then that's a 3-story house. So they'll say one word, Kabbalah, and Kabbalah list, Kabbalah, Kabbalah. You see what I'm saying? So 1 expression, 2 expression, 3 expression, 4 expression from 1 damn word. English, it's only 1 word, you know what I'm saying? You know what an apple is, apple, red, round apple, this what it is, but do you taste the apple? Can you, feel the expression coming from the apple? So a lot of people think they know shit, but they don't know nothing. The only thing they do is regurgitate and remember things, you know what I'm saying? And they mistaken that with knowing instead of understanding. That's what they regurgitate and just remember and give, you know what I'm saying? We call it experience or wisdom, the business language, English has no wisdom, put it like that. But in short, I'm gonna let them keep going. See what else he's talking about. Then we're gonna.
And that resonance is really where you create the connection. But you can only do it through words, because if you don't have the words, you don't have the channel, you don't have the bridge.
There you go. So
bridge is a good word here.
Yeah,
the bridge to bridge 2 people. But what are you using on this? What are you conveying on this bridge? What are you traveling across this bridge? However,
got a billion meanings,
our feelings and sentiments are sometimes not exactly described and can fit into the regular parameters of words. Which is why often one of the ways we communicate is through song. You sometimes can't communicate it through exact prose or particular rational words or language. So we use a song, or we use a feeling.
The light behind our raps been covered. The white light been covered with dim light, and we come out drill, murder music, death, kill, sacrificial.
It doesn't have any particular meaning in the dictionary, or a cry, or a laugh. So the point I'm making here is I'm trying to explain the so-called the science behind language, behind linguistics, and the science really is that there's an energy and there are containers. So this introduction is critical to really understand
Gematria,
the mystery
Kabbalah,
of the Gematria.
and
So let's go over to the Gematria now. So if words are energy, if letters are energy, and words are the synergy of several letters coming together, and I'll use the classic, as I said, the Hebrew word baruch is the best example because baruch means blessing. Baruch atah, you are blessed, you shall be blessed. So the word baruch is made up of 4 Hebrew letters, Beis, Resh, Vav, and Chav. If you want to use the word in English, bless, let's say bless or blessing, B-L-E-S-S. But as I said, I'm focusing on the Hebrew, but I'll explain it all, obviously, in English.
English had no expression.
This is an example of using language to explain something that may be beyond some people's language. Not everybody knows Hebrew. So the word baruch or bless is made up of letters, and the letters themselves, the B, for example, of bless could be a B in other words. It could be the B of building. It could be the B of bricks. It could be the B of a bumblebee, if you wish. So that B can be used in many different ways. It's just a brick. Think of a brick in a building. But then when that brick, that one letter combines with another letter, an L, which again is a letter that can be used in many words, and an E, and an S, or Beis, Resh, Vav, Chav, which can be used in many different combinations. Now that you combine them in this particular order, you have suddenly a new energy enters. What we call synergy. It's more than...
We call it Voltron. You see what I'm saying? You add one energy with another energy with another energy with another energy, and combine, they give you a whole meaning, a different meaning. When you subtract, and it means this. So different energies take or add meaning something in expression. And Gematria is a faster way to get to the point, unless you got to go back and learn Hebrew, the numbers, the language, all that. That takes a long time. So he knows this, and he got Gematria. So he knows that this is like a toy, a Rubik's Cube for the Jews to peer into the souls of people. Different levels of life. You know what I'm saying? The here, now, the after, the what could be, the potential will be, how it encompasses all of that, but it's sourced around you. That's a particular thing. You. A lot of people, if I enter their names, they have demons, and these demons have one name. I'm just call them Azazel, and it comes up in different brothers and sisters' names in their charts. And not to say that they're a demon, but this demon is having a lot of influence on their mind. So I can look at the influence of a person through Gematria and see. And this one demon comes up in different forms, different rappers, entertainers, and the person that's looking at the demon on TV don't know that's the demon, but he might see one particular rapper and then see another little rapper, Kodak Black, and then see another rapper, a singer. But in Gematria, if you type it up at the time and place they're in, at the same, like that, it's going to come up as one demon. But the mental 3-dimensional mind only see 3 different people. Well, do see 3 different people, but the spiritual aspect, the Gematria, the in between, the source and the case, sees the demon. It's Azel. So you got 3 different people with one entity. Subconscious see the one entity. The mind see 3 different people. Man, let me see. Let me keep going.
More than the sum of the parts. It's not just a B and an L and an E and an SS. It's not just a Beis, a Resh, a Vav, and a Chav. It is now the meaning blessing. Blessing, we all know, is much more than just 4 letters, random letters. Now the letters, the bricks have come together and have shaped a message, have shaped a feeling. Someone says, I want to bless you. It's a lot more than just a bunch of letters. They're giving you a blessing. They're giving you a bracha, a blessing. And the same thing with says, I love you, L-O-V-E.
What he's saying, he's explaining these words, but when you say, I want to bless you, that don't even make you move. When you say, I love you, it don't even make a person move. So if we have become so annoyed and void of feeling with or fucked up expression or lack of expression, that when we talk to each other, it has no meaning. I think we talking in robot language. You know what I'm saying? We out here like robots. I mean, you tell them before you love them. If you said in Arabic, motherfucker, okay, brother, man, and he'll shape up. You said in English, nigga, how much you say you gonna pay me win? You gonna pay me win? That's on Tuka grade. What? And that hold more weight, especially in Chicago. Tuka grade hold more weight than I love you. You know what I'm saying? That just real. But look at I can say Tupac grave and a nigga gonna make sure he got that paper. Or I can say I promise. And he like, yeah, get your ass out of here. So, they fucked up our language, you know what I'm saying? And it ain't our language. We are engulfed in a messed up language, a business language. So we gotta express other ideologies in our mind, but a business language. That's why Jay-Z sound like he do. Yeah. It's very hard to push spirituality through a business language and make it sound understandable. You know what I'm talking about? But we're gonna use the Kabbalah in this mind, you know what I'm saying? Because me and Blau do, we take the language and reconstruct it. And we give it a meaning, like Sahu. You know what I'm saying? The little bad nigga that's out here killing me. Everybody know who that is, so like I always tell Blau. Sahu and Delilah gonna be there. He like, oh, I ain't going. And he got to say no more. You know that's just some wild shit. That's some Mo3 shit, you know. So, and Delilah is a girl who's setting up the Mo3 shit. She the one, you know, you already know the ratchet, living room attitude everywhere like that, you know, people act different in their living room than they do in public. How we got to the point people act like they in their living room, you know what I'm talking about? I used to roll rail through the suburbs, you know what I'm talking about? Wind blowing like a motherfucker on my porch, birds chirping and squirrels out here playing with these cars, man. You keep running in the street, running back. Yeah. Sometimes I be like, fuck it, keep going. Like, man, you could be playing with me, man. Have me getting extra breaks quick as hell. You know what I'm talking about? You know, souls of dead niggas, you know, dead. I don't want to say it like that, but the souls of passed away brothers who have not all the way crossed over into the gangbanging ether of hell or heaven. So they're in between. I mean, God give them another chance. But since you've been popping at niggas, killing people, doing all this gangbanging, causing misery, I'm gonna bring you back as a squirrel. And your job is to go collect nuts, like you like to do anyway, hustle, sell drugs, collect money, and hide your money. And then somebody always gonna try to come steal your money, like the squirrel do. They hide this nuts, and somebody come try to steal it. The same with the nigga, he had it. And I watch this go on. But I hope they make it to heaven. You know. I really do. You know. Because they lost. You know. King Von probably over in front of my crib somewhere. You know what I'm saying? This is girl with the black stripe. He always making noises and shit, sitting at the fucking women dog. It's probably Von ass over there. Hope he can go, you know, beautifully. You know. And in this church, I seen the seed of David. That's why he used to give away stuff. He had the seed of David. He had the heart of David. The GD, the 6-point star. You know, the David grandson, David, King David. You know what I'm saying? We ain't talking about the GD. We talking about the lineage King David under the religious action was spilled into reality, into the game banging world, under the tribal mind state. And then he had the creation of Biden in his charts. So them two things he had to war with: the lineage of David, or the creation of Biden, which is the housing projects. You know what I'm saying? Section 8, public food stamps and stuff like that, you know, handicap the black man, woman, and child. Yeah. Nice Burberry rolling rims through the suburbs. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna keep going. Let me keep going, then I'm gonna pause. So we break all
love
these
for word in Hebrew, love is ahava.
But it's a rabbi.
Also 4 letters.
And he's talking about Gematria.
So this again
AKA the
conveys
Kabbalah.
much more than just
just numbers and shit.
These bricks have now turned into a structure. And the structure of the word that conveys a message that's more than the sum of the parts. But it's made up of those parts. So you have to say those parts all have their energy. Then there's a synergy that enters what is often called the Eir in Hebrew, in the Kabbalistic language, Eir ha'el al kulana, a type of synergy that hovers and is more than the sum of the letters, which is the word. Now, of course, that's one word. When you combine several words, you create a sentence. And sentences create paragraphs, and paragraphs create chapters, and chapters create books, and books create volumes. And there you have the whole story of the rest is history. The point is that it all begins with these letters. And whether it's letters of speech or the written word, it's the same idea. It's just 2 different forms of letters. One is coming out of your mouth, and one is being engraved or written on paper or on parchment.
From the ether to material.
Or engraved in a tablet.
Thought.
What I mean by tablet, I don't mean the modern
tablet. Put this thought on paper.
Tablets they were given at Sinai.
The paper should hit earth once you hit the earth manifestation.
So once you understand language and letters of that fashion, Now, the interesting thing is, if a letter is indeed a channeler of energy, then this letter has to be analyzed and dissected. So here we have several ways we look at letters. Besides the fact that the letters add up to a word, the letters also have a shape. Every letter has a shape. An aleph, for example, is a diagonal line with a dot on the right side and top right and a dot on the bottom left. A beis is three lines with an open left side, like a square without the left side of the square. A gimel is harder to describe. It's a line with it, but each Hebrew letter has its shape, and that shape indeed also, as I said before, with the film and the projector, the shape of letters is what shapes the energy. Follow that shape. So the shape itself carries and describes that kind of energy it is. So let's take the word beis as a matter of fact. The word beis has another meaning. Beis also is a bayit. If you know Little Hebrew, you know that bayit is a house. And a beis actually looks like a house. What does a house usually look like? You make three lines, and that's a house, right? A wall, and a roof. That's a beis, an inverted beis. And the same thing with aleph, and the same thing with gimel. So besides the fact that the letter itself makes up the word bayit, the shape of the letter contains the energy of that letter.
Wow.
So now we have the shapes. Then we have the meanings of each letter. Like I just said, beis is also a house. Aleph can mean master. Aleph can mean teacher. So aleph has many of its own meanings, and the same thing, each of the letters has its meaning. What we're going to focus on here is a third element in each letter, is its numerical equivalent, which we'll be calling numerology. That's the gematria. So what's a gematria? A gematria literally means the number that corresponds to the letters of the alphabet, of the Hebrew alphabet. So we have a system for this. It's actually quite complex. I'm going to focus on the basics. Even though we call this gematria for beginners, I was wondering whether to use that word. I'll tell you why, just as an aside. I remember I was once giving a series of classes at the Open Center here in the city. It was on Spring Street when I was teaching then. Then they moved somewhere in town. And I gave a number of classes there. One of the classes, the program director called me. She was really good with the titles and so on. She said, let's do a class called Kabbalah for Beginners. So I told her, I don't know if that's a great title. Who wants to be called? No one likes to be called a beginner. So she said to me, they said the same thing about those books, like, Counting for Dummies, Computers for Dummies.
Anyway, he just running his mouth. I'm going to fast forward all that. Basically, just take that in. Take that in, the expression. What letters have they written on your soul? What is the makeup of your DNA? Do you worry about what people think? Ask yourself that. Do you have purpose? Don't hang around people who don't have a purpose because they're wasting your time. So like Blau told me, it's them, you, and their agenda. When you one with somebody and y'all building on meaning or talking or just purpose behind y'all interaction, is you, them, and God. But watch out for those drifters. They like this in the mind. Like I say, I'm pro. Get up out of here because these dogs coming down the street and Chop might get frisky. You see, I can do this. Oh, fucking it up. All right, we out. I got you. I'll continue on them later on. Oh. You cool, boy.